Hey everyone, it's Dana here with Love Sola Flowers, and we are just going to do something that we've done before but in a little bit of a different way. And I have some fun things that I did with this box that I'm going to show you in a few minutes, but I did want to remind you that we are having a sale on our website, and our website is lovesolaflowers.com. We are having a pretty big sale. It's up to 70% off, and you don't need any coupon codes, so that'll just come off automatically. You'll see the price when you log in. If you have a wholesale account or an account with us, you make sure you log in, and you'll see all of our prices there. If not, be sure to sign up for all of our emails. And also when you purchase, if you are a first-time purchaser, make sure you sign up for an actual account as well. If you have an account, you're able to log on and you can go see your tracking numbers and you can see your shipping stuff, because sometimes, you know, emails will go to spam and things like that. But if you have an account, you can log on and you can check all your tracking numbers. You can keep track of all your sales. If you do own a business, it's kind of a fun way because you can look through all your stuff to keep inventory. And so just make sure you have an account with us. Also, make sure you're following our business page here. If you hit follow, that way you'll get notified for when we have posts and videos and things like that. And finally, if you are not part of our community group, join that. It's facebook.com/groups/lovesolaflowers, and you can join there and share all your photos of things that you do. You can ask questions of things that maybe, you know, if you're first timers or if you're deep into it and just haven't tried something and you want to try something new, we can give you some feedback and some opinions and all that kind of good stuff. So join the community group if you're not a part of that. We also have a YouTube page. We do have our videos here on Facebook, so we can do them live and you guys can comment. But sometimes it is hard to search because Facebook does not allow us to title the videos on our Facebook business page. So youtube.com/lovesolaflowers is our YouTube channel, and everything is labeled there, which makes it so much easier to find videos. So I did call this tutorial Modern Centerpiece Box because I'm going to show you, I'm going to do a little bit of a different shape here, and we're going to get started in just a few minutes. I've got my greeneries and everything ready to go. But first off, two things. I have my box here, and I did put foam blocks inside of it. You can spray foam. We've talked about that before. I like to use Great Stuff windows and doors spray foam insulation because it doesn't expand so much. So I just spray that in there, let it dry. I let it dry for usually like 5 days just to make sure, and I poke it with a wire. That's if you don't have any blocks that fit. It's good for weird shaped items, but I had blocks, so that's what I put in this for now. So I didn't have to wait. I could just start creating. And I also, as you'll see, there's some creepy things coming out of my box right now. It looks really weird right now because there's nothing else in it, but you'll see why I started with it in a minute. I made these dogwood. Can you see them? I made these dogwood out of posy flower. And basically all I did was kind of deconstruct a posy flower and kind of glue it back together. I used kind of 2 petals to make them a little wider if they were thin petals. Let me see if I can get that closer to you. See, some of them are kind of doubled up to make them a little thicker. And then I just painted the centers a brown color. Some dogwoods have a green center, so depending on the look you're going for, this one wanted to be very ivory in nature, so I stuck with the brown centers. And I had bought a dogwood stem and had like ugly silk flowers. I popped those off and I just glued mine on so that it would have the shape. Now I stuck them in my box already, as you can see, and the reason I did that is because these are the height, the things that are going to kind of be the highest point here in my box. And I didn't want to lose them and try to shove them down into something once I filled this. So I started with them. Okay, and so I'm going to be building my flowers and all my shape around the shape of these dogwoods. And that's why I called it kind of more of a modern style. Not so, I mean, well, dogwoods are kind of rustic, but just kind of the shape and the, I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for. You know what I mean? Like when it's just not kind of when it's not kind of like just normal, when it's, you know, more like editorial style, you know. So it's gonna kind of come out of the box in a cool shape. I like the branches of the dogwood, how they kind of just, you know, swish and bend over and all that kind of stuff. So it's just gonna be a little bit more of a modern look, but I put them in first again because I don't wanna have to try to jab them down into everything once I'm already done. I got them in the positioning that I wanted them, and I didn't stick any in the middle. What I usually like to do is have things kind of swoosh to the sides. So I don't do it exactly symmetrical. I'm not a symmetrical kind of person either, especially if you're doing modern. Symmetrical isn't necessarily necessary here. And so I have one more to the right, and I got one more kind of in the center-ish of the other half. So again, I'm starting with that, and then we do greeneries first, okay? We're gonna do greeneries first, and then I'm gonna pile in my flowers. All of the flowers are ivory because that is what the look is for this one. So none of these are dyed, but if you have not dyed our flowers before, it is super easy. We have lots of videos, YouTube videos, plus here on Facebook on how to dye our flowers with just paint, water, and a little bit of glycerin to keep them soft. And it's super easy. So you're gonna see flowers that are undyed today, but you can certainly make them any color you want. But we're gonna start with some greenery. And I've got a big stem, but I'm gonna just cut it down. So when you've got longer stems, you can just clip your pieces into the sizes and shapes you want, because obviously for a box, especially this thin, you're not needing it, you know, so long and tall. So I'm just gonna actually just start randomly placing it into my foam. If you're just joining us and you haven't seen, we are having a big sale. It's 70% off of our regular Sola flowers, and you do not need any coupon codes for that. The prices are already there. Tracy, I'm not really good. I'm okay with symmetry, but I just am not really fond of symmetrical things. I don't like things that go like evenly in circles. I like a little bit more mismatched. So I am having some come off, as you can see, some over the edges. I do like to start with some faux, even if you're gonna wanna use preserved and real greenery. Sometimes it's hard with the dried and the preserves to kind of bend over the edge. And so I like to at least get a base of some faux greenery, and then you can always add in on top of it where it kind of stands out more anyway, so it doesn't get lost in there, your preserved or your dried. So I am gonna stick some greenery in here. We might need to kind of shuffle it around a little bit once we get our flowers going, especially because we have large hydrangea in this piece. And with the large hydrangea, you know, I might need to make some room. But again, these branches are bendable, so we're lucky when it comes to that. So I'm just gonna, again, kind of haphazardly. Carol, you can find out all that kind of stuff in the group. You'll be able to see that in our Facebook group. We do chat about a lot of different things in our Facebook group, so make sure you join that. All right, so again, I'm not really kind of thinking about anything while I put this in. I'm just kind of going for it. All right, so I'm gonna put one more branch of this in. Then we're going to I have another type of greenery. Kind of want some of this greenery to go kind of with the shape of my dogwood that's coming up out of the box. Let's see, maybe I can come a little further from you. There we go. Okay. Right, I'm going to stick a different kind of greenery, and I'm going to basically do the same thing. Kind of just start filling over the foam. Centerpiece boxes are super fast and easy if you don't overthink them. Hey, Carla. So I'm just filling up some of that foam And once we get a decent amount on it, I'm gonna flip it this way so I can see this side too. Once we get a decent amount on, we can start filling with our flowers because we can always come back with greenery when we're done. Again, I like it to kind of come over. I have the Mousy. I'm kind of coming over the edge. I don't really like them straight up against the edge, like the corners, like the solid edge of it. I do like things to kind of hang down. Okay. Just gonna fill these last ones up. All right. Once we get these last guys in, we are going to start with our flowers. And I am gonna start with the hydrangea because they're the biggest, so you don't wanna try to have to like squeeze something, you know what I mean? It will be pretty hopefully when we're done here. But yeah, so I like to do all my big stuff first because again, the dogwood, we didn't wanna have to like crowd, so we did those first. And then, yeah. We've got a lot of styles of eucalyptuses on Love Sola as well in all different kinds of colors. Okay. So now I'm gonna place my hydrangea. I'm gonna do one on each side and one in the center. But the thing I'm gonna do is make sure, again, that I'm not necessarily symmetrical or in an exact location. So I'm gonna pop in this hydrangea and then I'll spin it so you can see it. I'm just gonna push down. I'm using my clippers to shove it down so I don't have to push hard against my flowers. And I'm just kind of loosening it up a little bit. Okay. I'm gonna put one on this side. Again, I can use my clippers to grasp it right at the head of the flowers and kind of shove it down in there. And then I'll spread it out a little bit to make it looser, a little more realistic. It's so sweet, easy. We can, you just keep shoving it in there. If you just keep filling, you'll be fine. That's all you have to do. You just keep filling. You just stick either greenery or flowers and you just keep going until your foam is full. And that's it. So again, I want to not be so symmetrical. So see how that one's on the corner? I want to not have this one on the corner. I'm gonna maybe bundle these guys up a little bit. I'm gonna just spin it so I can push it down a little bit more into the foam. As you can see, this is why we had our dogwoods kind of in there already. Again, if you are just tuning in, we are having our up to 70% sale at lovesolaflowers.com. Also, if you missed at the beginning, I made these dogwoods with the flower called Posy. It's under premium flowers. So as you can see, here, maybe this angle, you can see my hydrangea. They're not like evenly spaced. I got roses here too. But yeah, so I made my dogwood out of posies. I just kind of deconstructed them. I pulled off petals that I don't need and re-glued them in places that maybe I did need them. Get rid of this Band-Aid. I'm gonna put my roses in now because we have our hydrangeas, and I am gonna use the Roma Rose and Helena. We wanted nice big flowers for this. We've got kind of the small dogwoods coming up out of it. So I'm gonna use these nice full style roses, and I'm just gonna kind of layer and place here. And I will flip it so you can see. I don't need to be crazy, crazy full. Again, this is more modern, and I just kind of want the shapes and the movement to be the focus as opposed to just a big, you know, stack of flowers. And again, you can make your flowers kind of come over the edge as well. but I do like to layer. So as you can see, I'm gonna flip it so you can see this side, okay? Do you see how I'm kind of bundling and I'm kind of moving up with the shape of the dogwoods? And I'm just gonna keep filling till all my foam is covered. That's really all. There's really no rules. You know, centerpieces could be really quick if you don't overthink them. I see a lot of people just taking apart and going back and taking apart and going back, but I think if you just keep going till your foam is filled, that's really all you need to do. So again, I've already got these stemmed on wires. Again, if you're new here, we do have videos on how to stem. These are on 18 gauge wires, which is strong enough for me to push, but easy enough to bend. So those are 18 gauge. I do get mine on Amazon, my wire flowers, my wire stems. And I do use Love Sola's natural stems for things like glasses, like mason jars and things like that, when you really need the real stem to be visible. So I'm doing some clustering. I'm gonna spin it again in a second to show you what I mean by clustering. I'm not just going around the rim and making, like, you know, I see a lot of times, you know, and I make them plenty too, but the kind that just kind of go around and just kind of pile on. But again, we're going for a little bit more of a modern look with kind of an interesting shape, as opposed to, you know, the normal just go around the edge and fill in the middle. So I'm also doing these up high to kind of match my dogwoods. I need one here. It's a little too long. And I'll show you what we got in a minute. Okay. So do you see how I've kind of clustered? Okay. So I didn't just fill in every little inch. I clustered it. I am going to get a rose here kind of up high so that it's not just totally out in the never land here. Let's see. Okay, so I'm just gonna stem this. Oops, that doesn't have glue. Oh, I can't reach. I can't reach my glue stick. Hold on. All right, where'd it go? Okay. All right. The box is growing. I have a hard time reaching over it. Okay. So I'm gonna just trim this a little bit. And again, I don't want my dogwoods to feel like a totally separate piece of my box. Carol, it is easy. Don't be scared of boxes. They're so easy, really. And then I have a little bit of white filler to stick in it as well. Okay, and when you're using just 3 styles of flowers, you know, you are gonna have clusters of the same flower, and that's okay. One more flower up here, again, so my dogwood isn't so lonely up there. And we have to just stem this one, a little bit of glue. Oops. So this box is decently big. I did use hydrangea and I did do hand painted dogwood. So again, you have to kind of weigh that, like what flowers are you using? Again, I had to hand make these dogwood. So you could charge like $75 or so. It also depends your area. It depends on the occasion. Okay, this one's going a little rogue. Let me just try to bend it into shape a little bit. This person, I'm actually making this for somebody who bought the box. So my pricing is obviously a little different if they're supplying it. Again, I like to I like faux greenery because I can bend it in ways that you can't do that in real So, okay. So you see? Thanks. Not so difficult. This was not a lot of money to make, obviously, because I just used big flowers. But, you know, the hydrangeas are a little more costly. Okay, now I've got just a couple fillers that I'm going to stick in there just to add a little bit of texture. And again, I'm going to kind of go with like a more modern, interesting shape here. So maybe you gotta just find a way into that foam. Again, I'm gonna just do a couple different shapes here with my colors. If anyone has any questions. So we try to do weekly tutorials, you know, sometimes with holidays and or if my kids are gotten their things, sometimes I have to miss, but I do try to do them as often as possible. So if you are new and you're looking for tutorials, we have a ton of them. Again, they're on our YouTube channel if you need to search for something specifically. They are on our website, on our business page, but they don't say the titles because Facebook doesn't let you title your lives anymore. I mean, you title them while you're watching them, but then when you go back to search them, the title is not there. So just to give you a heads up, sometimes YouTube is easier to search. So, okay, I'm gonna flip it this way. This is just bleached ruscus. If you can't get your stem all the way to the foam, just hose it down with hot glue. Watch your hand to move it as fast as you can without burning yourself. If you've worked with wood flowers long enough, I'm sure you all know the burn that I'm talking about. Okay, we're almost done. I'm just gonna add a few more pieces. Again, I was very not symmetrical, so you know how sometimes you can make pieces that just go, you know, you go around the box basically, and you just fill it and it goes around whatever. This one I wanted definitely to do more layering, more like height, and a little more interest. This is gonna match some other pieces for a wedding. And so I think that's good. So as you can see, the dogwoods kind of stand up out of it, which I really like. And again, imagine if we didn't put the dogwoods in first, they would have been kind of lost out there. Let me show you this side. Let me just straighten this guy up a little bit. So I wanted those to stand out a little bit. Okay. I don't know, how long did that take us? Like 15 minutes, and I'm talking about all that. I think the box itself could take you about 15 minutes to make. I just like to loosen this guy up a little bit. I'm gonna flip it and loosen it because I can't really see it. Okay. If you do get hydrangeas, you know, they come pretty balled up. So again, if you need to make it not such a ball, you can pull on the little blossoms and loosen it up just a little bit. Hydrangeas are good for, the large hydrangea can be deconstructed and make lots of different things. We have plenty of tutorials on those kind of things, but if you just play around with the shape so it's not such a solid ball, it looks a little more realistic. Okay, so as you can see, we've layered. We've got some height. So it's a little bit more modern. Again, this is for a wedding, so they wanted to stick with kind of the whites and the ivories. I want to make sure that my little guys can be seen here. And I've just filled up my flowers up to the height of where the dogwoods had started. So if you are going to do things like cherry blossoms, you can make cherry blossoms actually out of the hydrangea pieces too. But if you're going to do something with height like that and it really needs to stick out, I would do them first, okay? Just put them in your box and kind of build around it so you know the look and the placement beforehand. And there we have it. Okay, again, so some of this is sticking out on one side, a little higher than the other, but that was all on purpose. Again, I don't really love symmetry, even in height. As long as you're balanced, you gotta make sure that you could be overly asymmetrical, so it is all to one side, which is totally beautiful and normal. But if you're just going for more like not symmetrical, then just make sure you're balanced. If you have some height on one side, make sure you have a little bit of height, even if it's not the same, and you kind of work that whole way around by doing the exact same thing. So that's our box. Again, started with some foam in a wood box, and we just filled it with greenery and then flowers, and that was really it. You can put your little special greeneries and fillers afterwards as well if you need some gap fillers. And then we loosened up our hydrangea. And again, if you're watching and you notice my dogwood, I made those out of the posy flower on our website, lovesoloflowers.com. It's spelled P-O-S-E-Y. You can just do a search for those if you can't find them under premium flowers. And I just used a branch of a silk one that I popped off the ugly silk and put on our nice wood flowers, just painted the centers with brown. But it's kind of fun to take other flowers and turn them into things. I try to never say I don't carry some type of flower because I'm always just trying to figure out how to make what we have into what we need. And it's fun to be creative like that. And so this is my box, and I hope you enjoyed it. Again, please show us your boxes and any other thing that you create in our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/lovesoloflowers, so that we can get inspired as well, and also that we can encourage each other and grow in our craft. So if you're a bride, a hobbyist, or a business owner, you are all invited to share and learn, and that's just how we all grow. So that is it. Again, our sale up to 70% off on lovesoloflowers.com, so you can grab your flowers that you need. Again, this was the Posy, Helena, Roma Rose, and Hydrangea. So we didn't have a ton of flower styles, which is really kind of fun and nice and easy. And that's all. So I hope you guys have a great weekend, and we will see you next week, hopefully. All right, bye.